Hey guys, my name's Colby. Welcome to Foreward Golf. So today we're going to be doing the iron system, and the great thing about this iron system is it's set up, numbered, and color coded. It's a blind test, and we're going to isolate all the variables of the iron, and we're going to get you the best specs you've ever had.
Can you explain to me what the colors are?
Everything is color coded by the test and the variable that it's testing. We don't want to spoil too much, but each test here is going to break down a different part of the iron. You're going to do length, you're going to do grip, you're going to do total weight, flex, sole design. And sole design is something people are not typically testing in the irons. These are all glued, no adapters here. What you're hitting is what you would get built.
That makes sense, because I've always felt weird hitting an iron with like a huge clunky adapter right there at the hosel, so.
We agree.
Who do we have here?
What's up, boys? Tiger Strike in the house. We're about to take Dave through the fitting process, and we're trying to figure out where good golf lives. Match the face, match the path, get that low point. Tiger Strike.
How's it going? I'm Dave. I've never been fit for irons or wedges in my entire life. I used to feel like it wasn't very important, but I've definitely plateaued in my progression as a player. And if I want to make you as good as you can be, I have to get involved in making me as good as I can be too. So today I'm in Ventura, California at Foreward Golf, getting fit by Chad. We're gonna do their extensive fitting process. They go through 9 different variables that is gonna affect where I'm hitting the ball and how I'm hitting the ball. And Chad, is
We're gonna get after it.
He's obsessed with something called the Tiger Strike, okay? If you know anything about golf, you've maybe heard of a guy called Tiger. He's pretty good at striking irons, and when he does so, right here, okay? Bottom 4 grooves maybe, and then the ball explodes off the face. That's what I'm looking to do. That's what everyone at home should be looking to do. Your swing is gonna look the way that it looks at the end of the day. Your body is the way that it is, but you can learn how to control the Tiger Strike, and Chad can help you do it by fitting the club to your body and to your brain, because these two things are connected and they ultimately control that Tiger Strike.
At the end of the day, the guy who can repeat their swing the most often and get a good result has the best chance of mastering it and playing their best golf. So what we want to do is, instead of try to recreate our habit, dive towards our habit and make sure that a golf club is matched up to that habit. Because if we can repeat, we can play this game. Tiger Strike. All right, so let's talk about our point of interest. This is the Tiger Strike, and this is the image that really got me thinking about what optimal turf interaction is and why it's occurring. So this is Tiger Woods' golf club from the year 2000, and that's his 8-iron. And we can see that there's been thousands and thousands of balls hit where the bottom of the ball was below the first groove. Now, what I've noticed with a lot of golfers is a lot of golfers think they're flushing it, but they're hitting it 2 grooves higher on the face. And we've actually done a lot of research that proves that this is the more accurate way to strike the ball if you want the ball to end all in the same spot. Let's go ahead and look at how we're going to achieve the Tiger Strike. So we want to look at an image of the sole design. So in the Foreward Golf system, what we're trying to do is we're trying to measure the 8 variables in isolation. Here is the sole design test, and Foreward Golf created a 7-iron that has 3 different bounces so that we can build a club exactly the same to measure the sole design. We have the high bounce, the medium bounce, and the low bounce. And we believe through our testings that the sole design is the #1 factor to achieving the Tiger Strike. So once we get this data, we are able to recommend companies like Titleist, companies like Ping, companies like Srixon. We sell all the OEMs because we don't really care if you play a Foreward Golf Club or not. But what's there to where if you do, you could have it, but it's really designed to test the industry so that you guys can spend your hard-earned money on something that's appropriate, that's going to work so that you can enjoy the game more. So here is maybe one of the best examples, and this image is from Adam Young, who has great information about this subject matter. Now, when we look, we see this white line here. That line is our angle of attack. And what I've noticed is most people who warm up have a very, very consistent angle of attack. So we're going to say that that white line is the constant. It's going to come in there that way almost every time. But if we looked at the high bounce, the medium bounce, or the low bounce, we can see that not all three of them can enter the crotch of that golf ball equally because of the different shape. If the angle of attack is the constant, there is no way that all three bounces could fit like a puzzle piece. So because our angle of attack and everyone is so different, we want to measure, we want to articulate that, and then we want to categorize you. So that's what we're going to be doing today. That is how the Tiger Strike and Soul Design are interrelated. And once we achieve that Tiger Strike, then it's about the lie angle. Let's get started. All right, let me give him a 7-iron. All right, let's go ahead and just hit, 5 shots. Seth, can I have you manning that? The first thing we want to do is get you warmed up with your 7-iron so that we can get some data on your swing a little bit. Okay. So don't just do your stock shot. What you do, we'll just kind of see what goes out. I'm sure there's going to be some great shots hit today. I'm sure there's going to be some not great shots.
Hey,
and it's the whole.
That's a little high, but it's.
Oh, that's Tiger Strike.
That's not bad,
that's
right?
Tiger Strike.
This might be easy.
So he Tiger struck that ball,
but it's still left.
The question is where did the ball end up? With what matters.
Very far left.
His ball started left, and then it moved left. So the face was a little close to path, and he hit a shot that if he didn't adjust his aim differently, would not be very advantageous. Now here's the issue.
That's such a nice way to say shitty.
You have lots of speed. Good. Talk to me about your
tempo.
Talk to me about your divots.
When I hit it perfect, they're not as deep. When I hit it normal and not great, they're very deep.
So you do hit down on it 7 degrees to about 8 degrees, which I fit a lot of elite players that are.
That's a lot. I get it.
Cool. Ooh. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at the data quickly, and I just want to get an understanding for how is he swinging the club. Where is the ball going, and what are we going to do to kind of right the ships? Okay, well here's what's cool. When he was trying to hit the fade or a stock shot, his path was out to in, which would be conducive for a fade. Problem is the ball started left and drew. So
face was close.
And then when he went to hit the draw, he swung into out, but the face still started the ball to the left and even missed more left. So let's go, so we're going to try to fit you into a fade. And what is the prerequisite to that? We got to make sure that when we get a Tiger Strike, the face is open to the path. In this test, what variables give us that for free? That's what we're going to be after today, is see if we can present a fade without you trying to, but yet it just happens.
Yeah.
And we're going to go out and play with the sample club that I make you, so we'll just see how it checks out.
Amazing.
First test is a soul design test.
Okay.
I already went over with you guys what the soul design test is, and basically what we're doing is we're going to test a high, medium, and low bounce club. We will not tell them which one's which, and we will reveal it at the end. Nice.
Felt a little better.
You have what I call better player problems. Your low point from warm up and everything I've seen is one of the rarest things. And Johnny Ruiz, and it has this similar issue. He's an amazing player. Is your guys' low point is almost
too far forward. I was literally thinking that on the way over. Sometimes my divot will start a divot after the ball,
which means you're this close to being like world class. Good.
That felt great.
Yeah, that was good. So when I'm trying to get turf interaction away from those people, I'm trying to give you more.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You need more turf interaction. It's the rarest of the rare. But you want to know what's crazy and why I have this test?
Yeah.
Is I'm starting to notice people who have angle of attacks around 7 degrees tend to do best with the high bounce. That's what I'm starting to see.
That's crazy.
Bounce moves low point back. The more bounce you have, the more low point will be back, and the less bounce it goes forward.
I didn't know that.
Well, if you think about it, if this trailing edge is way up off the ground, it's going to hit earlier, and if there is none of it, it's going to hit way later. If you just think about that trailing thing hanging down, it's always going to hit the ground earlier than if it was it just sheared off. It affects low point.
Good. Tried to hang it open there.
Did this club feel better or worse than the first one, do you?
Worse.
Yep. I thought it sounded worse. The data will tell us, but I think it was worse. Soul design number 3. Beautiful. Didn't know why it was my favorite club, just knew that I liked it.
Wow. So they were different bounce,
They were completely different bounces.
but same loft?
Same loft, same lie. I even bent the Shricks on flatter because I couldn't get the thing to cut. And it's because I couldn't tiger strike it, so that was thin. All right, let's go ahead and pull up the data, Seth. So I believe that you think you hit the first one the best. I thought it sounded the best, and I think that we're gonna see that here. And this is gonna really set the tone for what bounce you need to be in. So how do we do this? The spin, look at the consistency of the numbers. Look at the ball speed consistency. Look at the dispersion circle.
Yeah.
Why? Because the turf interaction, the ball contact was the same.
Yeah.
That dispersion that you're creating on the face of that golf club plays out on this every single time.
Right.
Where does it end up, and how often did it end up there, and how does it match to your thing? So when I look at elite players who have 7 degrees down on the ball, I'm placing bets before you start. I go, I think high bounce is going to win, but I've been wrong before.
Yeah.
What do we know it's not?
I've just low bounce. I've just never played. I've always played with this, and I've always gotten crappy numbers.
That's what I'm saying. So the goal is this: you could play high or medium. If you want to play the best, you would play a high bounce club, but you need to not buy low bounce. That's all. That's what we want to teach everybody.
I've bought a lot of low bounce clubs in my life.
Well, they tend to be sexy.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Here's lie angle number 1. This test right here is going to move that ball quite a bit. So this first one is not the easiest one for me to hit, I'll tell you that. Lie angle number 1. Absolutely smashed it. Ooh, another, maybe even slightly thin. That was really good. And that one hit the middle of the green. Give me one more. Very nice. Now, when you miss a shot on the golf course, would you say the left miss is more apparent, more?
Yeah, for sure.
Most good players do.
A little behind it.
A little bit behind it, yes, you did. Very nice, tiger strike.
Felt better.
Now, that ball is still on the left-hand side of the green, but it didn't get out of control like some of those upright clubs.
No, definitely not.
So that means that that club didn't allow the face to get overly close to path, and you hit a baby draw into the middle of the green. Very nice. Oh, we're starting to go for it now. Now we're going to hit the left-hand side of the green. You just hit 2 identical shots with tiger strikes, and it got better.
Yeah.
So this club is better than the first club for the direction. Wow. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Now, the standard lie angle is the fastest, but it's not the most consistent.
Yeah, right.
So the most upright one missed the most left.
Yeah, right.
Then medium, and then flat.
So I need flat.
You need flat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you want to eliminate the left-hand side of the golf course. The lightweight club was the medium trajectory, the super heavy club was a lower trajectory, and then the medium one was way up into the air.
Which is, I actually kind of like that. But
Height is our friend. As a good player, if we play hard golf courses, we want to be able to hit the ball high.
Okay, because especially as someone whose low point is like too far in front of the golf ball,
Yep.
I already know how to hit it low. I know how to play in the wind.
Yes.
I can hit it a foot off the ground with an 8-iron on purpose, and I don't need more of that.
Yep.
Because when I play these other courses, then it's like uphill 180.
What are you going to do?
I don't know.
This is where Tiger has his advantage.
I mean, I know what to do, but it's not natural, and it's because my equipment can't do that. I'm used to playing really heavy shafts. I already hit it low.
Yep.
My low point's already too far forward, so I've been playing really heavy shafts with no bounce.
A lot of times the heavier club will produce more lag, and the more shaft lean you have, the more the low point becomes even more forward.
Right.
As we get the club lighter, you can actually start to release it potentially a little bit earlier, and that's what's giving you that low point to be where it needs to be instead of too far forward. So we know that he needs to be playing a total weight of something in that medium weight category. So we want the club to weigh somewhere around 415 grams, something of that nature. We don't want to be up in the 450s, we don't want to be down in the 370s. So swing weight is influenced by all the variables, which makes it the nightmare. Length, if I extend your club a half of an inch, it changes the swing weight points by 3.
Got it.
If I do a heavier grip, if I do a head weight, all of them play into this thing. So to get hell-bent on trying to create a swing weight may make it to where you don't play the proper length golf club. So the reason why my clubs have weight ports in the back is because I had to make a length test, where all variables were controlled. The flex, the total weight, and the swing weight, but the lengths were different. So people think I'm copying PXG and doing all this stuff. No, I'm not. I needed 25 grams of head weight so I could pull off the test. The goal at Foreward Golf was to create a test club, and because people liked it so much during the test, we opened it up to be available.
To actually be the club that you can play.
Yes, sir. 3 shots with flex number 1. Solid. Very solid.
This has to be more upright or something.
It's not as flat. It's the same. So again, talking about a stiffer shaft will dynamically make a club play more upright because it's not drooping as much.
Wow. Okay.
The shaft isn't drooping as much, so dynamically it will be more upright than the next few. Ooh, that was maybe the best shot of the day. Fucking absolutely money.
That felt good.
Very nice. Did everything you wanted.
All right.
Very good.
Felt good too, but I knew that the face
Okay.
was closed.
So when I have a person who is overdrawing the ball, I start to lick my chops because these are the best fittings that we get when we have that club and we build it together at the very end.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why I love the club fitting experience so much as a coach is to be a great instructor, you have to have great students, and I found myself hard pressed to find them.
That felt good.
That thing fucking had some snap on it.
That felt really good.
Yep, okay. I believe you. Yeah, my ears got the approval on that. Tiger strike, absolutely perfect. And the ball flew very straight and it had a lot of ball speed. So there was really good energy transfer there. The goal in the shaft is we got to make sure
That
that
was
we're
a
getting
great
the shaft.
miss for me. That was a great miss.
It wasn't bad. It was
For me, because the miss for me is the other way,
Yep.
usually.
Yep. Yep.
Which is what I said I don't want. I always do that on the last one for some reason.
Is that 3? Yeah. And this is flex number 3. So again, everything about the club is the exact same, just messing with the flex. Hello. Very nice. Tiger.
A little thin, but that is gonna hit the flag.
It's gonna hit the flag. One more, maybe 2. Oh shit. Maybe one last one. Ooh, but then he does that. The question is what does the player need? And again, once we get the data, this is where club fitting really becomes an art form. So you got to kind of look at your past history as well when you're making some of these determinations because it gets tough. What we can see is flex number 1 and flex number 3 are kind of our point of interest. Why? Because their launch was a little bit more appropriate for the player. But when I look at the backspin and the consistency of it, look how much more consistent flex number 1's backspin was. And ultimately that's showing us the Tiger strike. So both go 183 in a 4-yard spread. But what I've noticed is when a shaft gets too stiff for players, it tends to unload early into the ball, which gets a strike location a little higher on the face. And if we get that shaft too loaded up and it starts to deflect too much, we start to catch it too low on the face and start thinning it again. So because his low point tends to be too far forward, there's no reason for me to go anything softer. If anything, I want to make sure we stay with something really rigid because our data in past history over the last 3 years suggests that's probably the best decision to make when you get such a close end result. So we're going to be going with flex number 1, which is basically an extra stiff to double extra stiff, something piping hot. We know that you can play lighter, but the flex that you came in with is not wrong. You load that thing and you move fucking quick.
Yeah.
So if we go too light or too soft of a shaft, I think you would thin the ball more.
I think so, yeah.
Yep. All right. So now we know the weight and we know the flex. Now we need to know, well, where's the shaft trying to kick from? So this shaft is going to be a low kick point, so
Okay.
very firm. Then the next one will be mid, the next one will be handle.
Got it.
Oh, this fucking gets so good right there, brother.
Yeah,
That's
that
such
was
good
really
interaction.
good.
It's such good trick interaction.
That was way better than when I came in with.
That was real good. Ooh, very nice. Those are fucking clipped.
Yeah, they are. Every person that comes in, a different variable might have a bigger effect on their game than the next person.
Yes, absolutely. You don't know what you're gonna get.
That's why you have to test them all.
That's why you should test it all.
Yeah, right.
I'm more interested in getting everybody prescriptions so the conversation can start, because everyone wants to theorize before they swing a club. It's like, bro, hit first.
Well, that's why I'm here, because I don't know what you know.
Well, I work with a lot of guys who are aspiring professionals, and when they start telling me how good their club feels and that why they don't want to change, I ask them how much money they made last year. And it turns the conversation right around. You know, if you're achieving your goals and doing everything you set out to do, you're probably not inside my building talking to me.
Exactly.
Usually it's because you think there's more in you inside, and we're trying to figure out where that is. So, you know, most good golfers tend to be more stubborn and they're harder to help.
That was my fault.
It's okay.
Whoa, it's the worst one I have yet. Let's go.
Okay, a little, not a bad shot, but a little low, a little towards the heel.
Yes.
Where we saw the first shaft hit the same spot of the club all 3 times.
Yeah.
Literally perfect.
Wow.
And that one got a little spinny on you. First time we've seen you north of 7,000. Not bad, and a little skinny as well. All right, so if the shaft is too soft in the tip and the midsection and you don't have anything really stiff down there, you're gonna have some problems. So the first shafts that come to mind is Dynamic Gold's not a bad profile from you.
Okay.
You just have, it's just too heavy.
The ones I have?
The ones that you have, I would just lighten them.
Okay.
105, but keep that same exact shaft. Or the actual shaft that you heard in this test is an LA Golf shaft, 105, and I would make it real that number 5 flex, which is extra stiff, because it's got the firmest tip section that we have in the building. The actual club that's going to win this test is it's got an LA Golf shaft in it. It's just got a black cover over it.
Okay.
Let's look at the data just for good measure, but I don't even think it's going to be close. All right, so here's profile 1 versus profile 3. We got a little ahead of ourselves and we didn't get profile 2, but we know based on the strike locations in the flight, he hit it too thin too often, it couldn't be the winner. But when we look at these numbers here, we can see, look how much more ball speed we got because we're hitting the ball a little higher on the face. For him, that's a good thing because he tends to hit things thin.
Yes.
But when we look at the spin rate consistency, we look at the overall everything, we're gonna put him in profile number 1, which has got the firmest tip section. So we know that his weight needs to be around 105. We know that his flex needs to be extra stiff or more. And then we know that that tip section needs to be nice and rigid. Just what's interesting is just like all the other stuff, one company says, we think this is what stiff is, and then the next company goes, well, we think this is what stiff is,
Bingo.
and they're not the same.
They're not even, it's not even remotely close, and I've seen it firsthand.
So some companies, their stiff is super stiff, and other companies is really
It's like a
soft.
noodle,
You're like, well,
yeah.
which one is it?
Yep.
Confusing.
Yes.
And I wonder if confusing equals more money.
Yes, it does.
This is a swing weight test, probably the coolest test of them all. Not because we get crazy data from it all the time, but it's the capabilities of what the Foreward Golf Club can do. So we've been testing this whole time, the swing weight's been the same at D3. But now we have E0. The next club is going to be C4, and the next club will be B4. But the total weight is the same, which is some wild ass shit.
The what is the same?
The total weight of these 3 clubs you're about to swing are the same.
Wow.
But you would bet lots of
But I would
money
say that
that
they're
would
not.
not be true. All the weight in this one is down at the head, and as we go to the next test, it will start to get away from the head. Ooh. And the reason why I wanted to do this test is one thing I found is if you add a little bit of weight to a guy's club and he starts to hit it better, he wants you to add more. And if you add more and it gets a little bit better again, he wants to add more again. He wants that point of diminishing return so that he knows what's too heavy and what's not. So that's what we're trying to accomplish in all of these tests, really. If I can make you test all these things in the golf club and there's no more things to test, there's only one place to look for your golf game, right?
Yep.
Once we get that club in our hand, it's about us. Interesting.
Look at that.
Another one.
Look at that.
Yes.
Look at that. Oh!
Great shot.
Yeah!
Shot.
That's better.
Sometimes if we lighten the swing weight, the club doesn't come from the inside as much and we stay more on top of it.
Okay. There you go.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And those are 3 shots that start right, stayed right, hit the green.
Oh, that's so
Beautiful.
good. That's what I told you when I came in here. I wish I could see that.
That was pretty sick, dude, and launches up quite a bit. All right, so it seems like from going really heavy to kind of a medium weight to slash lighter, he's just improved a little bit. Now let's go ahead and go crazy and give him the most wild club that is so different from anything in the industry. Here it is, swing weight number 3. Better or worse?
That probably felt the best so far out of anything.
Okay. Unbelievable golf shot. I don't
That's
think
the
it's
straightest
ever
ball.
left the line.
That's the closest one I've hit. Okay, that was just not a
It's all right.
great swing.
It's okay. You had some sizzle on that.
Come on.
Dude.
Come on, that's the one.
So, does that club feel like it's a different weight?
They all felt like different.
Good. One more. I need one more.
Okay.
Yeah. Good spot. Perfect. All right. So, guys, look at this. Look at those. We just let him hit 4 shots, and take a look at those strike locations. And this is on the B4, B5 swing weight. So what we did is we took the majority of the weight out of the head. Whatever we took out of the head, we redistributed into the grip. So the total weight of this golf club is the same as all the other ones that he's hit, except the balance point of it. And what's so interesting is he didn't miss a shot, and those balls pretty much did everything we want. Let's look at the data and see who wins. But what's interesting is the ball speed is the fastest of the day by far, and you went from a 121 ball speed average to 126 up to 131. The launch is very consistent.
Better spin too.
And better spin.
Yeah.
The highest launch of the day with really good spin rate. So we're starting to probably get close at getting that 50-degree descent angle, which you should have for your height speed.
Yes.
Seth, let's look at descent angle. Are we above 48? That would be the threshold for, look at, we're at 50.
Wow.
We have a 50-degree descent angle on that. Where with the heavier swing weight, we only had 47.
Yep.
So it makes me think that a little bit lighter shaft, a little bit lighter swing weight gets you to not lean the shaft as far. You lean it too much.
Yes.
We need a little bit of release, and this is helping you do it organically.
Yes.
Changing your release pattern, guys, is almost impossible. But if a club can help promote what we want to see, that's the low-hanging fruit. One of the things I tell people is I go, who do you think should lead the dance? You or it?
Say that question again.
We want to lead the dance, and we want the club to be there for
Yeah,
us.
no, I want to be the one hitting the ball.
Yes. When I asked Tristan Gretzky one time, has he ever seen Dustin Johnson get fit? And he said, yeah, I've seen him get fit for a driver. I said, tell me about it. Obviously, I want to be the best fitter that there is, so I'd like to hear about stuff like that.
Yeah.
He said basically the rep showed up with 25 of the exact same club head, same loft, same everything, just a tailor-made driver head with the same shaft. And Dustin would hit 3 shots perfectly straight, hand the fitter that, say, give me the next one. And the fitter would say, well, what was wrong with that? He goes, that ball was supposed to fade 7 yards and it flew straight. Give me the next one. He'd basically pick a shot. If the driver did everything he thought, he would say, put that in the good pile. And anything where he's like, that was a good swing, but it didn't do what he wanted, he said, get that fucking thing away from me.
Wow.
So he's like, I'll dictate the swing, you give me something to support.
Yeah.
And when Tristan told me that, it really kind of got my mind wondering, like, okay, well, you know, Dustin's kind of really taking control of this.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is a lot of us are better than we think we are. So here we go. We have a length test. We're going to try a long club and we're going to try a short club. And the length test is one of my favorites. Because people assume a long club is bad or going to be more crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
But what we've noticed is a longer club is harder to hit left if you don't compromise strike location. And we always hit it higher, and we can tend to get to spin more. Things that most people need. Oh, look at this motherfucking shot. Look at this. The ball's cutting, it's right on it. Oh, come on!
I even felt like I missed it a little.
Dude, that ball flew exactly the same as the one before it. Bro,
That's the
those were
closest 2
sick.
shots that I've hit.
Okay, that club's an inch over, like 1.25 inches.
Wow. I never would have thought that. I never would have even picked that club up.
So here's what's interesting about golf. People get all hung up on weight and stuff, and what's funny is not one club in my building weighs 1 pound. I do not own a 1 pound golf club.
Right.
But people want to throw the word heavy around very loosely. If I hand you a barbell that weighs 1 pound and I ask you if it's heavy or light, you would say it's light.
All weight is lightweight though.
Here we go. Here's a much shorter club. We'll see if you do better or worse with it. Same weight, same everything. Ooh. Welcome to the gun show. That was a good swing.
Yeah. I hate it. I'm sorry.
And he chunked it a little bit. Yep. Most people don't do well with this, and what's interesting about this,
I mean, I know that it landed next to the flag, but
the contact was off.
Yeah.
Contact was there. Let's pull it up, Seth. Let's look at the report. The one thing that I want to kind of look at is static measurement, because we want to get balance points in a good working order at setup.
Yeah.
If the club is too short, a guy could bend over too much, have too much of his weight over his toes. It's going to eliminate how he can swing in the backswing.
Yes.
So
make it too flat.
we don't know what's going to happen,
Right.
how they respond to it. But one of the things we want to do is we would like to err long rather than short, so we can accommodate a proper setup.
Interesting.
There's our number differences. We had a 131 average ball speed with more consistency than the short
way
club.
more spin and way more consistency in the spin.
Look at the launch.
214.
19
Oh, wow.
launch.
I'm been 17 all day.
You've been 17 all day. The length is one of the biggest needle movers, and not a lot of people are even taking that into account. If you guys don't lose the ability to tiger strike, well then who cares? Length is free game. Again, 1 inch is nothing in this world. If we assume that standard was...
my wife.
Again, if we want to assume that the standard that's been created from the industry is correct 50, 100 years ago, that's fine. But we're here to challenge it through a true test to see if that really pans out. We got one more test to go.
All right.
The grip size test. How big should the grips on our golf club be? How does the grip size influence this face to path relationship? Will it help him keep his face open a little longer? Will it make him close a little faster? Who knows? Oh, that was freaking hit so good.
I can't actually use this.
Too big?
It's too big.
Oh, it is?
I think so.
Well,
My hands are so small, like that. I just feel like I can't get it into my fingers when the grip is that big.
Out of all the tests that we want to do, we tread lightly the most on the grip size.
Okay.
Because you're a really good player, and what you said earlier really resonated with me, because what I will fire somebody for at Foreward Golf is doing harm to the patient making a sale.
Right.
Rule 1 is do no harm to the patient. I got a fucking +1 in front of me. Don't let him leave here being a 2. That's unacceptable.
Same with when I'm coaching someone.
The best thing that I can do if I don't know what to do is to tell you that your clubs are fine. That's my out.
For sure.
We're changing nothing today.
Yeah, for sure.
We want to make sure that we test it, but most people I allow them to allow them to play what's comfortable. Unless...
But also, if you notice, I haven't said that yet about any
No, you have
of
not.
the other parts of the testing.
Correct.
It was just because
very
I know I
invasive.
have baby hands.
It's very invasive. This test, you can totally just... There's a big difference that you can tell. What's interesting is if you do hit these bad, how bad did you hit them? Where did the ball end up? How did grip affect
The
you?
first one that I've like
Really
sliced,
missed.
basically.
Really missed it.
For me, it's actually maybe more what we would want, but
But we have so many other things that help us get there too. Usually,
I can't do it.
this is the last ditch effort.
All right.
That's not even the biggest that they go.
But again, I'm 5'9" and like,
The cool thing is if we force you to do it, you never have to do it again because you've proven it to yourself. That's the trick. All right, here's a great example. He hit that ball fairly solidly, and the lie angle has not been adjusted to flat yet, which we know he needs. So here's what's really interesting. Golf is a game of matchups, and we're trying to match up a club to the player. And what's crazy is there's probably 100 different combinations that could work for this guy. We know that if we went with a fat grip, we wouldn't go with flat lie angle. We can see it in the performance. So the question is, how do we piece it up to get the performance and keep him comfortable? Okay. High and right. Good shot. So, if we decided to stay with a standard size grip, we know we got to make it flat.
Yeah.
If you hated the flat look, I would say, hey, we need to go with a bigger grip then. There are options. Last one, but I'm going to say that this is heavily underperforming than a standard size grip that we've been seeing 130 ball speeds all day.
Feels slow as fuck.
It derailed your shit.
One bit.
Grip size was a big factor in what you're doing, and there's no reason for you to do anything different than staying with standard or maybe a wrap or two underneath, but no more.
I go standard 1 wrap.
That's
yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
That literally is perfect.
There's a comedian who I teach who's literally 7 feet tall, and like, yeah, he needs like that.
Absolutely.
His hand is literally this long. Like,
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make him a golf club, then we're gonna go to the Satakoy Club where the players play. We're gonna get down this afternoon. What are we doing? High bounce, flat lying angle, medium total weight, super stiff, firm tip section, thin grip. We're gonna go a longer length. We're gonna talk about how long we're gonna go. We're not gonna go a full 1.25 inch, I don't think.
Okay.
We're gonna make him a club. We're gonna go out and we're gonna see how the thing works. Will he tiger strike it? Will he hit these baby fades? Will he smoke me at my own track? Stay tuned. You know what I mean?
thank you so much.
Yeah,
that was
was
amazing.
Crip,
Wow.
Flow Rada,
Yeah.
Night Train.
Yeah. I mean, this speaks to me.
Night
The
Train,
night train. I like purple.
high bounce Night Train.
I mean, God, they're so beautiful. I mean, I've always wanted copper club. That's the thing. But like copper, but this is so Purple Rain Prince.
This
like,
seems like on brand for you.
I feel like it
when I
has
see
to
that.
be. You know what I mean? I'm not that good. I wish I was. But this is like, I will fuck you up. Even though I'm not this good, I will fuck you
Well,
up.
let's go next door. Let's look at these. Let's look at your weight options because you are going to get to play around with weight options and we'll
Wow.
just go figure it out.
All right.
Cool.